welcome to another episode of Primetime Rundown. I'm your host, Jarrett. My co-host, Dalton, is still having technical difficulties, so it's just going to be me again for this episode, but I feel like it worked out all right last time, so we'll just keep the ball rolling here. So we just got done with the wildcard round of the playoffs, and now we're moving on to the divisional round, and we had some pretty interesting matchups in the wildcard round and some good ones for this divisional round. But before we get into that, I just want to say that we are launching a new show called Cheap Seats starting after the Super Bowl. It's going to be a mix of NFL content and just general us talking content about whatever. It's going to be a little more free form, and it's going to be longer like the Heart Count Heroes Fantasy Show. So we're excited to start that. We hope you kind of check that out, and that would be a blast. So we also might have some new guys coming in from the TikTok page. We had a couple of videos do well recently, so if you're new there, thanks for stopping in. Check out the rest of the page as well. Go check out the Instagram and all the other socials that we have down below. And then also, if you haven't done it yet, check out Dubby over there in the corner, if I can get my finger to it, right there. Check that out. It's a clean energy brand, and we're sponsored with them. So if you use our promo code at the top left of your screen, Heart Count Heroes at w.gg, you can get some pretty good energy mix. They also got shakers like that green one I got back there, and they also just launched a new blue raspberry flavor. So if you like that, it's similar to kind of powder brands like G Fuel and that, but I honestly think it's better. So I would go check that out if I were you. So without further ado, let's roll into these matchups. So the first one I want to talk about is Cincinnati and Buffalo. So this game happened in Week 17 of the regular season, and unfortunately a turn of events happened where they had to cancel the game due to DeMar Hamlin's injury, which obviously rightly so, they should have canceled, but I projected this game to be a shootout in the regular season, and I feel like if they did go through with that game, it probably would have been that. So two very good teams coming into this, had two playoff teams that I think have a legitimate shot at making the Super Bowl, and they're probably favorites in the AFC along with the Chiefs. So I feel like I would give the Bills the upper hand in this matchup, though, just because of the defense, and I feel like Cincinnati kind of underperformed against a weak Ravens team last week, even though they won. I just feel like they kind of underperformed, so I feel like Josh Allen will probably have a pretty big game. Be able to pass the ball around. Eli Apple got injured, so that kind of brings down the Bengals' ability on their side. So, and if the Cincinnati Bengals want to have a shot here, Joe Burrow's really got to spread the ball out to T. Higgins and spread the ball out to Jamar Chase and all his weapons. So, but I'm probably going to go with Buffalo in that game. I feel like it's also going to be high scoring, and I would probably go 35-30 in that game. Bills win. So, Bills would go to the AFC Championship, and then they would play either one of these two teams. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the Kansas City Chiefs are going to play at Arrowhead this Saturday. I feel like the Jaguars are very impressive against the Chargers in that comeback win, and I honestly jumped the gun on that. I thought the Chargers had it done by halftime, 27-0. I put that slander TikTok up, and I got roasted for it. So, rightfully so, though. I mean, I was kind of jumping the gun there. I shouldn't have known with the Chargers, but the Chiefs, I feel like, are going to whoop them. They're way too good of a team to let that happen to them like the Chargers did. I mean, the offense is there. Pat Mahomes, you can't go wrong with that at quarterback. And the defense, as long as they're serviceable and can really kind of take care of those Jaguars weapons, they should be all right. The Jaguars had a cute run. It was cool. It was fun. You know, they did a lot better than they did last season. Props to Doug Peterson. Props to Trevor Lawrence for really taking a step up this year. But I would probably take the Chiefs in this one, and I feel like it won't be that close. I'm probably thinking like 31-13, something like that, you know? So a pretty big blowout there. And I don't think the Chiefs are really going to give up that much to the Jaguars. So we'll roll on next into the Saturday night matchup, the Giants and the Eagles. And the Eagles are a very highly touted team this year, best in the NFC. And Jalen Hurts has looked like an MVP candidate, although he'll probably go to Patrick Mahomes. But I feel like you shouldn't sleep on the Giants in this matchup. Don't sleep on Danny Dimes. He had a big game against the Vikings, and he really spread the ball around. Saquon Barkley had 2 touchdowns for him, and they kind of exposed the Vikings as frauds. So that happened to the Vikings. Kirk Cousins made a bad decision on 4th and 8 through a 3-yard pass and didn't go for the stick, so that ended up costing them their season. But if the Giants want to win this game. It's going to be going to the pass catchers and making sure they have a big game. Isaiah Hodgins had a big game against the Vikings. He went for 105 yards, I believe, on 9 catches. And Darius Slayton also went for 4 catches and 88 yards. So I feel like they need to have a good connection with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones needs to be able to, kind of sit there, read the pocket, and work around this tough Eagles defense. And then I'm a big Brian Daboll fan. I feel like he's really advanced to this team, and I feel like he has the momentum to carry them into the championship game. Now, into the Super Bowl is a different question, but I feel like don't sleep on the Giants this week. I feel like they're due for an upset. So I would probably take the Giants in this matchup in a close one. I would say 24-20. They beat the Eagles at the link. So that's what I got for that. Moving on into next week, or not next week, San Francisco and Dallas playing in San Francisco. The Cowboys put Tom Brady to bed. They kind of did something unexpected for a lot of us where I thought that Tom Brady, he's a playoff guy. One last ride, could have got to the Super Bowl this year, but they really shut him down. They won 31-14, and Dak Prescott looked really good. So, really impressive end on the Cowboys side of things after they lost to Washington in Week 18. Kind of a good recuperating game for them, getting back up to speed. The defense was good as well. And it kind of makes you wonder what is going to happen with Tom Brady. I mean, 100% I don't think he's going to retire. I feel like he wants to play next year, and he has the whole thing where he thinks he can play next year. But I think if you're Tom Brady, you really have to consider the broadcasting option you got from Fox. You sit in those games. You make money from that, and it doesn't put the stress on your body that the game does and all that. But he's a competitor, so I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up playing next year. But this could be the end, and if that's so, thank you, Tom Brady, for everything. I mean, he's the GOAT, so there's not much else you could say besides that. Talking about the 49ers, they beat the Seahawks in that game. Pretty well handedly. Brock Purdy actually impressed me quite a bit. Besides a couple of underthrown balls, he did exactly what I said he would need to do to win the game that week, which was just kind of manage the game, don't turn over the football, make smart decisions. He did all that. So, so if the Cowboys want to kind of contain with the 49ers here, I feel like the 49ers are just too good of a team to really be able to stop. They're good on all levels. So if the Cowboys want to compete, it's really going to come down to getting pressure on Purdy and making that rookie uncomfortable in the pocket, So containing him inside, he's got a little bit of mobile ability, so I would make sure you contain and then create pressure is really going to be what it is. So, and then if you're the 49ers, CMC needs to have a big game on their end to kind of get things going and just allow Brock Purdy to really exercise all his options. So when it comes to the end of the game there, I think the 49ers win this one and they advance to the championship game. I would probably take them, I would say 28-27, a really close game. I feel like the Cowboys are actually going to be a lot better than some people think, but 49ers get the win in that. So it would be 49ers Giants in the NFC championship game and Bills and Chiefs in the AFC championship game, which is a neutral site game. So those are my predictions. I'll get in touch with Dalton and get his for the Primetime Picks graphic. We'll have those up it actually should be a little bit after this is up. So that's our deal. We'll see y'all for the championship weekend. We'll get a little more expansive on those games. Remember to check out Dubby. Be ready for the Cheap Seats podcast. And check out everything else on the page. Follow all the socials, the usual. So that pretty much wraps it up for this week's episode of Primetime Rundown. If you enjoyed it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We're looking to grow the YouTube along with the TikTok and the Instagram. So just really kind of create a good platform and then get in touch with us on our Discord as well through the Instagram link. So thank you, and we'll see y'all later.